My girlfriend told everyone I was emotionally abusive. She left out one detail. I've gone back and forth about telling this story for months. Even now, part of me feels guilty saying it out loud, which is ironic because guilt is kind of the whole point of this story. If you asked people in my life a year ago who I was, they probably would have said I was quiet, reliable, maybe emotionally closed off, but not in a dangerous way. Now, if you ask some of those same people, they hesitate, or they change the subject, or they say they don't want to get involved. And that's because my ex told everyone I was emotionally abusive. We were together for almost 3 years. I'll call her Anna. We met in our early 20s through a shared friend group. Nothing dramatic. Same city. Same routines. She was funny, articulate, very into therapy language, attachment styles, boundaries, trauma responses. At the time, I thought that meant she was emotionally mature. From the outside, our relationship looked healthy. We didn't scream at each other. There was no cheating, no explosive fights. We lived together for the last year, split rent evenly, grocery runs, show nights, normal stuff. But we did argue, mostly about communication. Anna needed constant verbal reassurance, check-ins, validation, reassurance that I loved her, that I wasn't upset, that I wasn't pulling away. I'm not naturally expressive. I show care by doing things, fixing stuff, being present, remembering details. That wasn't enough for her. She would say things like, "When you don't respond the way I need, it makes me feel unsafe." At first, I tried harder. I set reminders to check in. I practiced saying affirmations out loud. I tried to meet her where she was, but no matter what I did, it was never quite enough. If I needed space after work, she said I was withdrawing. If I didn't want to talk something through immediately, she said I was stonewalling. If I disagreed with her feelings, she said I was invalidating her. And if I tried to explain my side, she said I was being defensive. Eventually, every disagreement followed the same script. She would tell me how something I did made her feel. I would try to explain my intention, and she would say intention didn't matter, only impact did, which sounds reasonable, until impact is the only thing that matters, and your perspective stops counting entirely. Over time, I started choosing my words very carefully, not because I wanted to manipulate her, but because I was afraid of saying the wrong thing. I walked on eggshells. I apologized constantly, even when I wasn't sure what I was apologizing for. I thought this was what emotional growth looked like. Then, near the end of our relationship, something shifted. Anna started using heavier language. She said I was emotionally neglectful, then emotionally manipulative, then emotionally abusive. The first time she said it, I felt sick. I asked her what she meant. She said my lack of emotional responsiveness was damaging her mental health, that my need for space was controlling, that my silence during arguments was a form of punishment. I didn't recognize myself in that description, but I still wondered if she was right. We broke up shortly after that conversation. It wasn't explosive, just cold. She moved out within a week. At first, I thought we were handling it privately. I was wrong. A few weeks later, people started acting differently around me. Friends stopped inviting me out. Group chats went quiet. Eventually, someone I trusted pulled me aside and said, "I don't know how to say this, but Anna told people you were emotionally abusive." She told them I manipulated her feelings, that I made her doubt herself, that I controlled her through silence and distance. And people believed her, not because they hated me, but because her story sounded believable. She used the right words, the right language, the kind you hear online all the time. I didn't defend myself at first. I didn't want to invalidate her experience. I thought staying quiet was the respectful thing to do, but staying quiet cost me friendships. What changed everything was something small. I was looking for an old photo on my phone and scrolled past messages from Anna, old conversations. I started reading them, and for the first time, I read them without trying to fix things. I read them objectively. I saw how often I apologized, how often I asked what she needed, how often I reassured her. And I saw something else too. Screenshots, messages where she twisted my words, where she accused me of intent I never expressed, where she turned normal disagreements into character judgments. I realized something uncomfortable. She wasn't lying about how she felt, but she was leaving out how she contributed, and she was leaving out how often I tried. Eventually, screenshots made their way back to a few people in our friend group, not from me, from someone who finally asked for context, and slowly, quietly, the narrative changed. No apology, no public correction, just silence. Some friendships never came back. Others did, awkwardly. Anna moved on quickly. I've heard she tells the story the same way to this day. I don't think she believes she's lying. I think she genuinely believes her version. And that's the part that still messes with me. Because emotional abuse isn't always about cruelty. Sometimes it's about control over the narrative. And sometimes the most damaging thing someone can do is tell a story where you don't exist as a full person.